Born into a privileged noble family on August 7, 1560, in Nyírbátor, Hungary, Elizabeth Bathory's life of luxury would later be overshadowed by accusations of horrific crimes. Allegations surfaced that Bathory's reign of terror spanned from 1590 to 1610, escalating in brutality after her husband's death in 1604. Initially, her victims were reportedly impoverished girls and young women lured to her castle with promises of employment. However, the grim narrative claims she expanded her targets to include daughters of the gentry sent to Széchenyi for their education, as well as local girls abducted from their homes. Bathory's wealth and noble status shielded her from justice until 1610. The deaths of victims from noble families finally raised alarm bells, prompting Hungarian King Matthias II to dispatch his chief representative György Thurzó to investigate the accusations against her. It is reported that Thurzó gathered testimony from around 300 witnesses who presented a range of shocking allegations against the Countess. The sources indicate that Elizabeth Bathory subjected her victims, mostly girls and young women, to unimaginable acts of torture. It is said that Bathory employed various cruel methods, including burning her victims with hot irons, bludgeoning them to death, inserting needles under their fingernails, dousing them with ice water and leaving them outside to die of exposure, covering them in honey and exposing them to insect bites, sewing their lips shut, and biting off chunks of flesh from their breasts and faces. Furthermore, it is claimed that Bathory's preferred technique of torture involved the use of scissors to mutilate her victims' bodies and faces. The Countess allegedly used scissors to amputate their hands, noses, and genitals, and sometimes even to slit open the skin between their fingers. The gruesome acts attributed to Elizabeth Bathory, coupled with the supernatural tales woven around them, have shaped her enduring legacy of terror. During Thurzó's investigation, accusations ranged from vampirism to consorting with the devil. The most notorious claim, however, is the one that earned Bathory the moniker Blood Countess. It alleges that she bathed in the blood of her young victims to preserve her youthful appearance. While this story is deeply entrenched in popular consciousness, evidence suggests it is highly improbable. According to some historians, these accusations emerged in print over a century after Bathory's death. Given the mythical nature of some of Bathory's alleged crimes, it raises questions about the veracity of her bloody history. Did these accusations stem from truth, or were they merely fabrications designed to topple a powerful and affluent woman? While Elizabeth Bathory's reputation as a Blood Countess is deeply ingrained in history, many contemporary Hungarian scholars argue that the accusations against her were greatly inflated. The trial that followed these accusations resulted in Bathory being charged with the deaths of 80 girls. However, a single witness claimed to have seen a personal journal kept by Bathory detailing the names of 650 victims. Despite this claim, no such diary has ever been found, leading many to believe it was merely a legend. The trial concluded with the conviction of Bathory's alleged accomplices, including her children's former wet nurse, who were burned at the stake for witchcraft. Bathory, however, was spared execution due to her noble status. Instead, she was imprisoned in a sealed room at Széchenyi Castle, where she remained under house arrest until her death in 1614. While Elizabeth Bathory's story is often painted as a tale of pure evil, modern Hungarian scholars suggest a more complex narrative. They argue that the accusations against her may have been fueled by political motives rather than her supposed cruelty. King Matthias II, burdened by a substantial debt to Bathory's late husband and subsequently to her, may have sought to discredit her to avoid repayment. Historians speculate that he orchestrated the accusations against her, denying her a fair trial and ultimately leading to her imprisonment. Furthermore, the testimonies against Bathory, though contradictory, may have been coerced. The king's swift imposition of the death penalty before Bathory's family could intervene further suggests a political agenda. This move would have allowed the king to seize her vast and strategically important lands, further enriching his own coffers. The true story of Elizabeth Bathory may be far more nuanced than the popular narrative suggests. Her wealth and power, coupled with her independent spirit, may have made her a target for the king and his court, who sought to dismantle her influence. While the possibility of Bathory's abuse of her servants cannot be discounted, the extent of the alleged violence remains highly questionable. Ultimately, the truth of her story remains shrouded in mystery, leaving us with two contrasting narratives: a powerful woman unjustly accused, or a bloodthirsty monster. I'd like to take this time to pay my respects to the victims and all the families that were affected by these heinous acts on both sides. You deserved better and are forever in our prayers. May you rest in peace. Conclusion. The evolution and exaggeration of stories have been an integral part of human culture since time immemorial. From ancient oral traditions to modern digital narratives, the way stories evolve and become exaggerated over time reveals much about human nature, cultural values, and our psychological makeup. As we delve into the phenomenon of story exaggeration, we must consider several key factors. The transmission of oral traditions, the role of memory, cultural influences, and the human propensity for embellishment. The role of oral tradition historically. Before the advent of written language, stories were passed down orally from generation to generation. This method of transmission is inherently prone to alterations. Each storyteller might add their own flair, emphasize different elements, or even alter facts to better suit the audience or context. Consider the epic poems of Homer, the Iliad, and the Odyssey. These stories, which originated in oral tradition, were eventually transcribed, but not before being shaped by countless recitations. With each retelling, heroes grew mightier, monsters more terrifying, and events more grandiose. Human memory and its imperfections are not a perfect recorder of events. Cognitive psychology tells us that memories are reconstructive rather than reproductive. Each time we recall an event, we reconstruct it, often filling gaps with plausible details and personal biases. Over time, these reconstructions can significantly distort the original story. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Killacliffnotes, and I'll see you in the next one.